Nishia Slater here with Star Life Wellness Group. We're going to talk about, let me ask you a question, I should say. How many of you have had something that interrupted your life when you didn't even ask for it to happen? Oh, I see a lot of hands raised. How many of you have had your innocence taken without your permission? I had my innocence taken from me at a younger age. Let's say I was about 4 or 5. I was still riding a big boy at the time, and it was the early 80s. I come from a single mother of 7 children. I'm the 3rd oldest. I didn't know that my current situation and the lifestyle that I was living, I thought that was fine. I thought that was where I was supposed to be. I know that a lot of times that our parents are supposed to teach us things. Let's admit, my parents dropped the ball, or should I say my mother. I did not know the basic things in life. I did not know that I was being traumatized and victimized. I didn't know that at an early age. So by going through that childhood trauma, it forced me to be promiscuous. I was sexually, emotionally, mentally molested, raped, taken advantage of. And I did not know that those guys or those men should not do that. I didn't know to hold my body sacred. I didn't know to be selfish with myself. I didn't know that. So at the age of 14, I became pregnant. I dropped out of high school. I thought that was normal. Everyone else was doing it. When I had my baby at 15, I didn't know what parenting was. What is parenting? I'm 15 years old. I want to be outside playing. I thought that was normal. So I didn't know that it was supposed to be a 2-parent household until I got into middle school. So my trauma kept me occupied with other things. But I learned to escape from my trauma by reading, by writing. I used to love reading and writing. Those were my favorite things to do. Right now, I have a bunch of pens and notebooks and books. That's what I have right now. That trauma kept me down so low that I didn't know anything positive. I didn't know how to look at the bright side of life. I said, what's a smile? What's happiness? How do I bring that in my life? Now, we all know that trauma is learned behavior passed from one generation to another. So I was passing it on to my children. Well, at the time, I should say my child. I thought that was normal. So by the time I had my second child, I said, I think I need some parenting. Parenting classes was not normal. Going through therapy and counseling was not normal. I come from a household that says, if anything happens in this house, it stays in this house. So as a child, that was embedded in me. I didn't know anything differently. I thought that was normal. Like, my mother wanted to protect me. I didn't know anything else. I was like, oh, my mother loves me. But that ruined me. I had trust issues. I was walking around with so much hurt, pain, and guilt, and I was blaming myself because I allowed these things to happen to me. I was ashamed. I didn't know what self-love was like. I didn't know what healing was like. What are those words? Those do not resonate with me. I don't remember hearing those from my mother. And I definitely couldn't hear it from my father because he wasn't in the picture. So what am I to do now? I had several failed relationships because I took that trauma from my childhood in those relationships. I allowed myself to be mistreated. I always say by frogs. I allowed it because I thought that was okay. I've been treated that way my whole life, so what was the difference now? In my mind, I didn't think there was a difference. I thought it was normal. So I'm basing everything off my childhood. I did not know how to think for myself. I became quiet, mute, silent. I didn't figure or discover my voice until that's where my shame comes from. I didn't discover it until I was in my early 30s. I didn't feel I had anything to say because all those years and that trauma that I was going through and growing through kept me quiet. Nobody wanted to hear what I have to say. What are you talking about? When I was younger and I used to write, I didn't know I was journaling. I just used to write. I spent so much time hiding and being ashamed that I could have wrote a book back then, but I didn't know that. So by the time I was 22 when I decided to take parenting classes. High school dropout, didn't know what I was doing. But I said I want to do something right. I have 2 children who are looking up to me, who needs me. What am I going to do for them? I didn't even think about myself because I didn't have self-love. I didn't know anything about self. So I said, what am I going to do for them? I started taking parenting classes. When I was 18, I got back into school. I hurried up I worked really, really hard so I can get my, I'm thinking about my bachelor's degree, high school diploma. Look, I didn't go to high school, so I'm like, I don't even know the word. I worked really hard so I can get my high school diploma. I wanted my girls to be proud of me. So after getting my high school diploma, I took a little break because that was hard because I didn't go to high school. I don't know what a calculus or anything is like, and you want me to take a test? I took a little break. Then I went back a couple years later, and I got my accounting degree. I love numbers. All I used to do was count when I was little. I needed to do something, anything to distract myself from the trauma that I was going through. So later on, a few years later, I got my bachelor's degree. But in the midst of getting my bachelor's degree, I started a couple businesses for myself. Because I said, I can't leave what I am going through and what I have behind for my children. I need to build. I need to focus on building. So the business that I started was for them. It wasn't for me. So I said, okay, let's backtrack. How are you going to do things for yourself? What are you going to do for you? I didn't have anyone to turn to. I never had that growing up because I had trust issues from the hurt and the pain that I went through. I didn't have that. So what do I do now? Who do I turn to now? I turned to myself. I went within. In 2017, I started my health journey. I was almost 300 pounds, and I couldn't walk up a flight of stairs to save my soul. And I said, I need to do something about this. I changed my lifestyle. I changed my eating lifestyle. And while I was changing my eating lifestyle, my mindset started to change. And as my mindset started to shift, it was shifting so fast, I didn't know what was going on. I started healing. I started practicing self-love, self-care, self-worth, self-value. And I'm like, whoa, 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 what is all these things? I've never went through that before. What are those words? So I started my 12-step healing journey to becoming the woman I am now. The first step that I started to go on my healing journey is I had to forgive myself. I had to focus on me. And then I forgave those who trespassed against me, who done my body and my mind harm in my childhood. I had to, because I had to let it go. I had to free myself. So once I done that, I said, what else can I do? I love smiling. I didn't know my smile was so big until I started looking in the mirror and recording myself. I love smiling. It brings me great joy just to smile. And of course, laugh. I love laughing as well. Sometimes I just giggle. I don't even know what I'm giggling at. But when I started my 12-step journey, I said, what can I do? Because I had to go within. I don't like getting up early. I don't know if you do, but I know I don't. Excuse me, I didn't. That was a mindset. That was the old me. So I told myself, let's go through this 12-step journey. I rose early. And when I rose early, there was time for me. I still had children. So I still have children. So when I rose early, if they had to get on the bus and get up at 6, I rose at 5:30 to focus on me. I didn't do all these 12 steps at once, but I done them step by step. And I didn't do them in any order, but I just wanted to get this done. I got up early. I said, what I'm going to do now that I'm up early, I have this energy, what I'm going to do. I started doing meditation and yoga. I started listening to binaural beats because remember, we have to watch what we allow between our ears. It's very, very important. I started journaling. I brought that back. That is something I used to do in the 80s. But now it's back. So now I still have this energy. I'm finding my purpose. I said, what am I going to do now? I started listening to motivational speakers. I had to put some positive mental downloads in. And then I wrote affirmations all around my wall. Just all around my wall in my bathroom. Because I needed to see some things. This is stuff that I've done in my house. I didn't have to go anywhere. Because I wanted to go within. Right? And then after listening to those motivational speakers and having those affirmations, now I have more energy. I'm more excited. Now my purpose is becoming bigger and bigger. I said, what can I do now? I wrote letters to the people who influenced my life. I didn't have a lot, but I still wrote those letters. I wanted to let them know that I appreciate them. I am grateful for them being in my life because I didn't have any sense of direction. And after I wrote those letters, I said, what can I do now? I said, I need to know something about me. How am I going to impact the world? I wrote my own obituary. It was a little scary, but I wrote it. So let me write my obituaries to see how I want others to view me. And oh my goodness, it was a little scary, but I wrote it. It's something I've never thought about doing. You know how we used to read obituaries all the time, but writing your own can be scary. Then since I'm already on my health journey, I said, what else can I do? I started meal prepping. I'm like, what is meal prepping? I don't know what this is. But I saved so much time and money by meal prepping. Oh my goodness, where has this been all my life? Then I started my intermittent fasting. Now, I've done the one where you eat, your window is only 8 hours of eating and 16 hours you don't eat. I did that. I do that. I still do that daily. So now I'm still getting this energy, and I'm like, where is this coming from? It's coming from within. I didn't know I had so much energy and power within. I didn't know my light was dim and I had to learn how to shine it. I didn't know that. I allowed others to dim my light because I thought that's the way things were supposed to be. Now, being the third oldest, I had a lot of responsibility. But that was okay. That was okay. I did not mind the responsibility because it kept me focused on something else besides my current situation. Now that I'm learning so much about me, I'm like, what can I do for others? I love volunteering. I used to volunteer, and, well, of course, before COVID, I used to volunteer at organizations just to be amongst women. I love to encourage, to motivate, to empower, to inspire. I love it. But I couldn't do that until I forgave myself. Now, in the midst of me being quiet, I didn't know what else to do. When I used to volunteer, I used to come home and record myself speaking. I recorded myself for 60 seconds, 1 minute, just to see how I sound. And oh my voice changed over and over and over again. It just kept getting better and greater and better. I said, who is this woman? This is who I've always wanted to be. But I didn't know how to do this. What is this? How do you get there? I've seen so many people there, but nobody wanted to help me. So I had to do it myself. And of course, everyone is going to be different. But when I started my healing journey, I didn't know I needed healing until I heard myself speak. I said, what is healing? I thought healing is when you get a wound and you had to heal it. Like, oh, what is that? No. It's inner healing. It's self-love, self-worth, self-value, self-discipline, self-development. And we already know with self-development comes growth. You're not going to be the same person you were 5 months ago, a year ago, 5 years ago. You're going to evolve into the person or into the woman that you are called to be now. So I encourage you to start your healing journey. Start your health journey. You could start it with 1 step at a time. It doesn't have to be 12. You may not need 12. You may only need 3. But I encourage you to forgive yourself, forgive others, and let it go. Let it go. Then I had a person to ask a question. How do you help your child grieve through the loss of a loved one while you're dealing with the loss yourself? That was the question that I had someone ask me. And the way you do that is by being there for that child. Listening to the child. Allowing the child to speak. So they have a lot of emotions. When you're going through trauma, you have a lot of emotions. We have it. So speak through your emotions. But in the midst of allowing a child to speak, allow them to grieve. We all go through our grieving journey differently. You may grieve different than a child. So be it. But let them grieve. Of course, give them extra hugs and love because they need it, especially if they lost a loved one during this time. And I say this time, meaning COVID. And then how you can go through the grieving process is to be extra kind to yourself. Treat yourself. Forgive yourself. Let go of the guilt, hurt, and the pain. When you're feeling that, reach out to someone and know that you're not alone. You didn't get there by yourself. It is important that you do that. Okay? And then I encourage you to spend time with people that you want to spend time with. Not people you usually don't spend time with, but the people you want to spend time with. And that's my response to the person that asked me that question. I hope that was something that was able to help you. If not, you can still reach out to me. And if you need someone positive to talk to, I am here. I am available for you. Okay? So thank you all for being in this space with me. If anything has resonated with you, please, let's connect. Let's talk. It's time to start your healing journey. And the time is now. I encourage you to start now. My name is Nishia Slater, and I am with Star Life Wellness Group. I am a trauma recovery life coach. I smile because I am truly happy. I smile because I am inspired. I smile because I am encouraged. I smile because I have energy. So let's get you your smile, your genuine, true smile. It is time. It is time. Well, we will talk again soon, and I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful Monday and continue to get to know you because you are important. Thank you.